Land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
They told me they fixed it. I trusted them to fix it. It's not my fault.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Sometimes I get this situation, and maybe you could relate to this. I'll have somebody walk up to me with a piece of technology and they'll ask, "Hey, Mr. Fred, do you know how to make this thing work?" And I often pause, and I sometimes wonder, why do they assume that I know? Or, I know that I've been teaching this for such a long time, and I love to tinker with this, and I create a GetMeCoding and all that, but they'll ask me, like, why won't my phone connect? Or why won't the printer work? Or all of these things that are related to technology. And I get that. But, sometimes I'll stare at the screen and I'm thinking, or the device, and I'm thinking, I got nothing. And it's one of those moments that I'm unsure of how to actually react. And I think that's something we don't say enough about technology. I'm going to share something with you all. Guess what? None of us knows all of this stuff. We can't. It's simply changing way too fast. And so maybe being good with technology isn't about knowing the answer. Maybe it's knowing what to do when you don't know the answer.
Talking about gadgets, games, and gears. AI buzzing in your ears. Parents, teachers, kids unite. We're learning tech and doing it right. Oh, it's a tap, swipe, scroll kind of show where zeros and ones are ready to go. From old school DOS to robots that talk, we're jamming with Mr. Fred's Tech Talks.
Hey everybody, welcome back in. I am Mr. Fred, and I'm the creator of GetMeCoding.com, and this is Mr. Fred's Tech Talks, where I do spend a lot of time talking about coding and tinkering with tech and artificial intelligence and all the technology that's becoming part of our everyday life. And I'm happy you're here. Now, lately, I have been getting ready for my fall classes. So if you're listening to this, for me, August 24th is the beginning of the fall term at my university. And it often gets me into the preparation mode, and I'm also thinking sometimes of bigger, loftier ideas. And the one that I was thinking a lot about lately as I'm putting together things for my classes is this. What do we do when we don't know? Because we've never had easier access to answers. So if you don't know it, what do? You Google it. You don't know how to fix something, you watch it on YouTube. And if you're still confused, well, you go over to your favorite chatbot and you ask AI. That's incredible. I mean, sincerely, it is incredible. I use all of those things too. But here's the question I've been wrestling with. What happens if we become so good at finding these answers that we stop getting good at figuring things out? And really, that's what I want to talk about today. I've shared before my technology journey across a couple of the podcast episodes, but I want to go back to one of them again. And it's that Christmas when I received the Atari 2600, the video game console. I can remember vividly taking it out of the box and seeing the controllers and the console and the cables. They were all black. There was a boxy type of silver slidey thing, and figuring out how to connect it to our television. And at that time, the cables weren't color-coded like they are today. Like, the blue end plugs into the blue port or the blue hole, or the red connects to the red. We didn't have any of that. Although those were brilliant ideas when they did arrive, because it made it so much easier to connect everything, especially if you weren't comfortable with that space, right? I don't want to get into being preachy, like when I was younger, it was a lot different. I'm not going there. I think that technology has always been having us figure things out. And that's the thing. We're not really saying we were more resourceful or smarter back in the day. We didn't know what we were doing. Just like a lot of us don't know about what's going on today with certain technologies. We just didn't have as many ways to skip the figuring out part, I think. If something didn't work, you tried something else. And if that didn't work, guess what? You tried something else again. And if that didn't work, you might have made it worse, but you tried something else again. That ultimately all came together as learning how to explore. And I think sometimes we've gotten it backwards. We assume that you need to have expertise before exploring something. And I've seen that firsthand in dealing with entrepreneurs who are starting up their businesses. And I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs over the years, including myself. And everybody automatically thinks that they have to have a level of expertise to use this particular tool, maybe to make a podcast or edit their instructional video or create a course or write a book. No. People put those barriers up. I don't understand AI. I don't understand robotics. I don't know what that app does. And then they back away. And I think that is an issue. Now, there's been a lot of talks about this concept, especially some TED Talks, and they refer to it as persistence. They talk about a generation of young people, and not so young, who don't have the ability to kind of work through a problem. And it really does remind me of my time on active duty with the Marine Corps. When we would go on certain runs, we would run in what we call formation. And when you run in formation, the pace is pretty easy, but you sing these chants, or what we call jodies. And you would sing these songs. And I can remember one very vividly. It kind of included the phrases of run up the hill, run around the hill, run under the hill, run through the hill, run over the hill. And we were always kind of teaching ourselves that when you face an obstacle, you work through it. And that's really an important characteristic that we need more of now than ever. But why ultimately do we back away? You don't need to understand Python, programming language that is, to sit beside somebody who's learning Python. You don't need to understand every Lego piece, right, that you get in your kit to ask, what are you building? And you certainly don't need to understand everything about artificial intelligence these days to say, okay, show me what you're doing with it. Simply put, exploration can become the thing that arrives before expertise. Matter of fact, that's actually how expertise begins. So I have these ideas. One of the easiest things we can do when somebody gets stuck with technology is also one of the hardest. You ready for it? Don't immediately solve it. Instead, ask a question. Maybe one of these. What are you trying to make it do? What have you tried? What happened when you did that? What do you think is going wrong? And then when you ask those questions, you want to notice something coming together. First of all, you might not know the answer yourself, so that's part of it. But those questions, they're great with a 10-year-old. They're also great with a college student. And guess what? They're also pretty awesome with a coworker. And quite frankly, it even works with me. Because now we're not simply hunting for the answer anymore. We're trying to understand the problem. And that is a very different skill. So here's another idea. And this one may be the most important. Don't steal the struggle. We'll put that on a t-shirt. Don't steal the struggle. And that is a strange thing to say because when we see someone struggling, we really do naturally want to kick in and help them. And helping is good. But helping isn't always the same thing as solving. Sometimes people need another 5 minutes, another attempt, or another wrong answer. Or another, well, that didn't work. And then going back to the persistence topic, we've all seen a turtle, right? You know, the turtle with the hard, rounded shell. Now, if you take a turtle and you turn it upside, well, let me hold on a second. Do not do this. And by the way, I haven't done this. If you take a turtle and turn it over on its back, they have an incredibly difficult time getting back on their feet. And that's what I see a lot of times with young people, especially beginning to learn how to code. They'll try something and they'll say, it's not working. And my response will often be, well, then try something else. And then they'll expect something else to just and magically fix it. And sometimes things are just hard and you got to sit and figure it out. So that's one of the things that I like to do in my classrooms is allow students to explore moving through the problem solving phases. Because look, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. No matter what it is, engineering, chemistry, physics, math. So you have to work through those challenges. And it's really not evidence that the learning has failed. Sometimes that is the learning, the experimenting, the debugging, the changing the one thing and then trying again. That's where problem solving ultimately develops. And that's an immense skill. And that's often the skill that I hear from a lot of employers when they reach out to me for helping with finding interns for their programs, for their companies. Are they good problem solvers? They don't always ask about certain programming languages or technologies or topics. They talk about problem solving. But ultimately, this applies to all of us. Before immediately reaching for Google or YouTube or AI, give yourself another minute. Give yourself a little grace and pause. Look at the problem, try something, make a prediction, then use the tool. I'm not suggesting you stop using these incredible resources because sometimes we are bound by time. We got to solve this problem. We're trying to fix this pipe. We're trying to, unclog this toilet or whatever you're doing, right? So yeah, using those resources is fine. But I'm suggesting that we don't let the instant answer rob us of every opportunity to figure something out. And that leads me to another idea. And I really like this one. Let somebody else teach you. Now, before I go further on this one, I started to notice something over the past few months. Maybe you have too. Have you ever asked a friend or a colleague a question? And now maybe it was something about baking or cooking or gardening or maybe some DIY, like a do-it-yourself project, carpentry stuff, plumbing, whatever. Did you ever ask them a question because you knew that they were good at those things and their response was, well, you can Google that or use ChatGPT or, meaning use any chatbot. I've been noticing that happening a lot. And really the only reason why I'm asking them is, one, I want to get an expert's answer, or because I trust them and I respect their knowledge, I want to make sure I am getting a good answer. But I'm also asking them because I want to just talk to a human. So I don't know. It's something I just noticed here recently. But going back to this one, with letting somebody else teach you, this is a fun one to do, especially if they're younger than you are. And I've prompted this as a tech challenge in a prior episode, but you can go up to a young person that may be a Minecraft person, and maybe you've never logged into Minecraft, you've never even seen the Minecraft game, but you want to know about it. And you say, show me how Minecraft works. Or if they're exploring code in a summer camp that they just came back from and they learned how to use Scratch, which is a block coding or low coding tool. Say, show me what you built with Scratch. Or show me how the robot works. Show me what you're doing with AI. If that's a coworker or a college student. But then here's the key. Let them actually show you. And that show me, ask, I think is going to be a very, very important ask this coming school year with AI being so prevalent now. Stay tuned for more on that. But going back to the asking them to show you and then not jumping in, don't grab the mouse on them. Don't take over, and don't immediately correct them, whatever you do. Just ask questions, because something really interesting happens when when someone has to teach what they know. And I've been doing that for years, but I have also gone into the classroom and I'll often, the first day of class, I'll share with my students that we're on this learning journey together. I'm going to share knowledge with you. You're going to share knowledge with me. But when they do teach you, it does force them to organize their thoughts. And then they have to explain a process. And then sometimes you might get into a situation where they have to troubleshoot when that demonstration that they're trying to show you doesn't work. That's always an interesting situation. But then suddenly you're not just using technology anymore. You're both thinking about it. There's another piece of this that really has nothing to do with tech. And it's going back to the show me phrase. When you use that phrase, you're also telling the other person what you're interested in matters enough that I want to understand it. And that's pretty powerful. Whether you're a parent, a grandparent, a friend, a colleague at work, or just somebody who wants to understand the people around you a little bit better, that is incredibly powerful. In the last couple of episodes, they've all had me thinking a lot about how young people are going to interact with AI and technology. But somewhere along the way, I realized this isn't really just a conversation about kids or young people anymore. It's about us too, us adults. Technology is changing for everybody, and we're all going to encounter moments where somebody knows something we don't. And sometimes that somebody is going to be 10 years old. And you know what? That's okay. I mean, really, that's pretty awesome. So that takes us to this week's tech challenge. Now I'm going to call this one the Show Me Challenge. Yeah, that's been, if you picked up on it there, though, that's where I was driving this. So I want you to find somebody this week who knows how to do something with technology that you don't. That could be your child. It could be your grandchild. It could be a student, a coworker, a friend. It could be a neighbor, whoever. And I want you to say 2 words to them. Show me. Now here's the challenge. Don't immediately Google it or ask AI. Let another human being teach you. Ask questions. Then try it yourself. Probably going to mess something up. And then if you do, just laugh about it. Then try it again. And when you're finished, it goes further now. When you're finished, I want you to ask, okay, what should we try next? That's it. No new software required, no account to create, no subscription, just pure curiosity. Technology is going to keep changing. There will always be another device. There's going to be another app, another AI tool, another thing we're apparently supposed to already know how to use. We're never going to know it all. And maybe we don't need to. Maybe what matters is going to be staying curious enough to ask questions and patient enough to struggle with something for a while. And then humbly enough to occasionally say, I don't know. Show me. Because being good with technology doesn't mean having every answer. Sometimes it simply means being willing to explore the question. And maybe that's something worth passing along. I'm Mr. Fred. Keep playing, keep tinkering, keep exploring. And guess what? I'll be with you on the next episode on Mr. Fred's Tech Talks as we continue moving forward. See you.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again?